Good evening, friends. Hopefully, you were moving and grooving in your seat or on your feet and enjoying a little bit of Spamalot. I hope I'm right with that. I think I am. Let me just make sure folks are getting into from our waiting room and into our space. And now, as they say, it is nearly time to get that drum roll started and celebrate the fact that it is 2022. And yes, you could watch the Olympics anytime, but here you are, and we're thrilled that you're spending part of your Sunday evening, February the 6th, here with the Colorado Hebrew Chorale and Kol Nashim, and the return of Jewish Broadway by the one and only Broadway maven extraordinaire here in Denver, Colorado. I refer to Ms. Miryam, also known as Miryam Raizen. And so with that, we're going to get things started and take it away, Miryam.
All right, so if you're wondering, Carol, yes, you were right. That is from Spamalot. That is You Won't Succeed on Broadway. And if you're wondering why I'm playing that, it's because tonight I'm focusing on people you likely did not know who are Jewish. Probably might not even know who some of these people are. I was looking through my list the other day and realizing like, some of these are a bit more niche. So we'll have to see. So you're not going to see Barbara Streisand. You're not going to see Idina Menzel. You're not going to see all those people you already know are Jewish. That was the entire goal of tonight, was to introduce you to people who you likely did not know about. And Carol, I'm not sure if you can help me run the polls because it doesn't look like I can do that from screen share.
Right now, I guess we can also try to pretend that we will do this with a show of hands. But in the meantime, I want to make sure people who are waiting in our waiting room are making their way in. And I'm glad to see so many of you are with us. You can stay on camera, you can go into a silhouette. We're okay with that. Welcome, everyone. The resumption of Jewish Broadway is one of a number of the various online programming that the Colorado Hebrew Chorale makes available, all free of charge. And we are thrilled to know that it's a shocking number, and you can rest assured I added it all up to date. From 2021, we had in excess of 1,500 people, separate people, joining us from around the globe for the various programs that we did, each of them unique. Those programs include what you're here for tonight, Jewish Broadway. We also will be this week resuming with our L'chaim, a taste of Jewish music from anywhere. And this Tuesday night, we will be giving you a taste of Jewish music from Berlin. So you can pick your beverage, your adult beverage. I don't want to prescribe beer over wine, but you make that choice. We're hoping to have a great recipe or talk about it, but you'll hear about all the synagogue hits from the 1860s and onward. And our third online program is called Text and Context, and that is a deeper dive into the words behind the music that our women's choir Kol Nashim is performing. And what can I say? Sorry, not sorry, but Stephen Sondheim, for whom the focus was already supposed to have been back in 2020, never mind the pandemic. And then, okay, well, he passed away on Thanksgiving weekend, but he is no less important in terms of talking about some of his seminal contributions to the lyrics and the poetry and the stories of Broadway of the past 50 odd years. All right, enough talking from me. Friends, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat. I am now going to relinquish my podium and let Miryam take it away. Please remember to mute yourselves, and if you have a question or a comment, put it into the chat, please. Thanks.
I think we may have to utilize the chat function because I think with my current abilities, I can't actually pull up the polls. Unless they're showing up on your screen. Nope. Okay. Alrighty. The very first thing we're doing tonight is some trivia, as I always like to do in my presentations. So we will be utilizing the chat function tonight. It's okay. So this is going to seem a little out there, and you're probably wondering why, but what else was Gilbert de Montaigne known as? Your options are the Marquis de Lafayette, the Vicomte de Chagny, Baron Pontmercy, the Duc d'Orléans, or Clark Kent. So please feel free to put up in the chat who you think it is. The whole point of this is to have some fun with trivia and kind of get your mind going. I know. Okay, we've got one for the Vicomte de Chagny. Anything else? I will say this is a bit of a history question. It's kind of not fair. Is that it? We're only going to get one person? I don't care if you get this wrong. This is all for fun. I'll give it a little bit more time, see if anybody else is brave. Got two for the Vicomte de Chagny. One C. We got a definitely not Clark Kent. That is true. I did throw that in there as just a hilarious curveball. One of these is not like the others. Anyone else? Okay, guess not. All right, so what else was Gilbert de Montaigne known as? Marquis de Lafayette.
I'm taking his horse by the reins, making red coats ready with blood stains. And I'm never gonna stop until I make them drop and burn them up and scatter their remains. Watch me engage and I'm escaping, I'm enraging them. I go to France for more funds, I come back with more guns and ships, and so the balance shifts.
That is Brian Wiles. If you ever take a chance to watch on, I believe it's AMC, they've got a series that's called Turn, Washington Spies, and he played the Marquis de Lafayette. And you're probably wondering what this has to do with anything I'm talking about. And that would be David Diggs. He is the first on our list tonight of people you probably did not know are Jewish. So this is David Diggs. You may recognize him if you've watched Hamilton on Disney Plus, or if you did get to see it on Broadway. He was born in Oakland, California, and I know we've got somebody here tonight who's near that area. To Barbara Nadell and Dantas Diggs. His mother is a social worker, and his father was a bus driver. And when he was asked about his background, Diggs says that the cultures, they never seemed separate. I had a lot of mixed friends. When I was young, I identified with being Jewish, but I embraced my dad's side too. And he attended Berkeley High School, and then he went on to attend Brown University in Rhode Island. That was where he graduated in 2004. Now, he did not immediately go into music or rapping. He actually did work as a substitute teacher. Diggs has frequently performed with experimental theater productions and a bunch of regional theater Shakespearean productions. In one such, he actually was in The Tempest, where he played Caliban, which is, I think, pretty interesting. And in 2012, he first met Lin-Manuel Miranda through the director, Thomas Kail, who is the director of Hamilton, while doing work with a group called Freestyle Love Supreme, which is a freestyle rap group. They actually have a show on Broadway going on right now, actually. And in 2012, Miranda invited Diggs to read and hear an early version of Hamilton. Diggs was impressed by Miranda's demos and passion for the project, and he saw that the concept was, and he liked the way that they were using the rap and musical forms together. He thought that that was very interesting. And he very early on joined as the Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson and maintained that role through 2016 and actually won him the Tony for the Best Featured Actor in a Musical for his performance. You can still see him doing a whole bunch of stuff recently. So he's also done work with an experimental hip hop and rap group called Clipping. In 2012, Diggs partnered with the Disney Channel and wrote a Hanukkah song, and it's called A Puppy for Hanukkah. He's also had a number of other roles on television, including The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Blackish, and Law and Order SVU. Ah, there we go. We have a poll. A little late, but we'll get. I guess we're good for next one.
Be grateful that I found it.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Okay, moving right along.
All right. Oh, whoops. Hang on. Okay. And you will actually be hearing him soon in the upcoming live action remake that Disney's doing of The Little Mermaid, which once again features music of Alan Menken, who is collaborating with Lin-Manuel Miranda. So you saw Brian Wiles performing Guns and Ships. Here's the Real Deal, which also, this is a notable song as being, I believe, the fastest song on Broadway. You can hear how fast he goes with his words. It's kind of crazy.
How does a ragtag volunteer army in need of a shower somehow defeat a global superpower? How do we emerge victorious from the quagmire, leave the battlefield waving Betsy Ross's flag higher? Yo, turns out we have a secret weapon, an immigrant you know and love who's unafraid to step in. He's constantly confusing, confounding the British henchmen. Everyone give it up for America's favorite fighting Frenchman. Taking this horse by the veins, making red coats, whether we blood stains. And I'm never gonna stop until I make him jump over, no more better the remains. Watch me engaging them, escaping them, enraging them. I want to transform our funds. Come back with more guns on ships. And so that balance shifts.
We rendezvous with Rochambeau, consolidate their gifts.
We can end this war at Yorktown, cut them off at sea, but for this to succeed, there is someone else we need.
I know.
So he knows what to do in a trench, ingenuity, fluent in French, I mean. So you're gonna have to use him eventually. What's he gonna do on the bench, I mean? No one has more resilience or matches my practical, tactical brilliance. You want to fight for your land back?
I need my right-hand man back.
Yes, get your right-hand man back. You know you gotta get your right-hand man back. I mean, you gotta put the button to the letter, but the sooner the better to get your right-hand man back.
So you can imagine what it takes to maintain and keep that rhythm and speed, and also do that throughout with a, okay, maybe not stellar, but a French accent. And as I mentioned, he wrote a Hanukkah song, which we are going to watch a little bit of. This is his song that he collaborated with Disney Channel on. It's called Puppy for Hanukkah, and it's actually quite fun.
That blessing is about, now I've said it. Not sure what it means, but I learned it phonetic. By the way, you got a present for me, is it what I wanted? Pass that shamus, let's get the flame started. Ooh, for me? Oh, well, you shouldn't have. I guess I'll just, Oh, that's a sweater. Did somebody knit this? It's really great. This isn't going how I saw it, huh? It ain't going well. It ain't going well. I really hope I get this puppy for Hanukkah. Get a puppy, get a puppy, get a puppy, get a puppy, get a puppy. It's all I ever really wanted, bro. Anything I want, anything I want, anything I want. Just a puppy for Hanukkah. Give me that dog. Lights keep burning and nights just pass. Menorah is now covered up with wax. I thought it would be obvious, I didn't want to ask, but will tonight be the night I get my puppy at last? My feet are warm and my body is cozy. The hats and the mittens and umbrella are totally great. Love it all, I'm the king of style. There's one thing I've been wanting all this while. Wait, is that? Could it be? Oh my gosh! You're everything I ever wanted for. You are what I want. You are what I want. You're my puppy for Hanukkah. I'ma name you Monica. Probably not, that's a weird name for a dog. But it rhymes with Hanukkah. I got my Hanukkah puppy. 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 I got my Hanukkah puppy.
And that is Puppy for Hanukkah. Now you have something new to add to your Hanukkah playlist. So next up on our roster tonight is Adam Pascal. So Adam Pascal was born on October 25th, 1970. Oh, no. There we go. In the Bronx, New York, and Pascal was raised Jewish by his mother and stepfather, and went to Syosset High School. He actually graduated from the New York Institute of Technology, and before getting work in musicals, he was working as a personal trainer. He also, before that point, had been in a number of rock bands, starting about from the age of 12. Most of them were school friends and things like that. One of them actually gets featured briefly as a poster in the film of Rent. Which actually, as you see, was his breakout role, where he played the role of Roger Davis. For a long time, he was known for having more of those gritty rock star roles, typically mostly because of his work as Roger. And only more recently has he gotten into a bit more traditional roles, such as playing Billy Flynn in Chicago. And more recently, he was in a regional production of Music Man as Farrell Hill. Just quite a difference. So other roles shows he was in was Aida. He was the MC in Cabaret, and he did a concert production of Chess with Adina Menzel, who he actually went to school with. He found out about Rent from her boyfriend at the time, and that's how he ended up auditioning. More recently, he's been in Memphis, Chicago, and Pretty Woman, which, if you did not know, yes, it is a musical. Here he is in 1998 as Roger, singing the title song.
I saw when the chords sound wrong, but they won't sound me right and rare. When the notes are sour, where is the power you once had to ignite me? Yeah. We're hungry and frozen, some life to be chosen. How we gonna pay? How we gonna pay? How we gonna pay last year's rent? We might.
Next, we have our next piece of trivia. So the character Rodolfo in La Boheme is the basis of which character in Rent? Your options are Tom Collins, Mark Cohen, Benjamin Coughlin III, or Roger Davis.
Think you guys have got, I keep trying to get this to advance. Okay, let's see if this is smart enough to relaunch or download or something. Yeah, we shared the results. Let us move on. Stop sharing. We did that too. Okay, let's figure out if we can get past question number 1. Okay, everybody else, put your answer in the chat while I figure this out.
I think I may have recycled this from when I originally did Rent, so if you were paying attention. I know there's a, okay, we've got 1 answer, got 2, 3. Anybody else? Anybody else brave enough to answer? Oh, 4. We got 4. Only 4 out of 32. Oh, come on.
How about Clark Kent? Okay, we'll figure this one out too, but folks.
Anybody else want to take a stab at it? I promise nothing bad happens if you get it wrong. You don't even have to type the whole name. You can just put a letter. Anyone, any last chances? Any takers? Take the resounding silence. Oh, we got 1. Okay. I'm gonna take the resounding silence as being that everybody else is either too afraid to take a chance or they just don't want to. This is a shame. This is fun. All right. The answer is indeed Roger Davis. And once again, there's Adam Pascal. And just for giggles, this is actually one of the Roger's I guess, well, basically his song from Rent. It's one song, Glory. Specifically, this is from the film, which did an odd sort of thing. They brought back a bulk of the original cast to perform in the film, which was directed by Chris Columbus. And you might also hear again later tonight. No, he's not Jewish.
Time flies, time dies. Glory, one blaze of glory, one blaze of glory, glory. Find glory in a song that rings true, truth like a blazing fire, an eternal flame. Find one song, a song about love, glory from the soul of a young man, a young man. Find the one song before the virus takes hold, glory like a sunset. One song to redeem this empty life. Time flies, and there's no need to endure anymore. Time dies.
Continuing on. Next up, we have Mandy Gonzalez. You may or may not have heard of her. So she was born on August 22nd, 1978 in Santa Clarita, California, to a Mexican father and Jewish mother. Her parents met when her mother was writing letters to soldiers in Vietnam, and one of them happened to be her father. So this is what Mandy has to say about her parents and like their relationship. My mother said to my dad after they got married, "We're Jewish." And my dad just said, "Okay." My dad still goes to synagogue with my mom. He goes to every Seder. He's a big part of that community. And he will be the first one to tell you if the brisket is good or if the matzo balls are too hard. And as she also has said, she was the only Gonzalez in Hebrew school. That was very interesting for her. And credits both sides of her family for nurturing her musical chops. And this is another quote. "I feel so lucky because from my father's side, I was introduced to bolero singers, ranchera singers, and just big sounds like Selena," she said. "And then on my bubby side, I was introduced to Ethel Merman and Edie Gourmet and Judy Garland and all of these people that I love. I think because I was part of two cultures, I really got the best of both worlds as far as music." She attended Saugus High School before going to California Institute for the Arts for a year, which she then dropped out to go and join as a background singer for Bette Midler's Millennium Tour from 1999 to 2000. After that, she moved to New York City, where she was working as a coat room attendant while trying to nab an open call audition. She was actually nominated for an Obie Award for her performance in Eli's Coming in 2001. And for those of you who do not know, Obie Awards are basically the Tonys for off-Broadway productions, in its most basic sense. Now here's why you might know her. She made her Broadway debut in the Tim Rice Elton John adaptation of Aida in 2001 as a standby for Idina Menzel as Princess Amneris. Gonzalez actually followed In the Heights from its off-Broadway days to Broadway, where she created the role of Nina Rosario. She's actually gone on to star in runs of Wicked as Elphaba, and currently, I'm fairly certain right now, can be seen on Broadway as Angelica Schuyler Church in Hamilton. She's also had roles on multiple TV shows, including Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, Only Murders in the Building, and I believe, like every other Broadway star, Law and Order SVU. Yes, if anybody else has been watching Only Murders in the Building, she appears as Mabel's mother. I had a moment of recognizing her and realizing who it was. So a little bit of In the Heights trivia. What college did Nina Rosario attend in the Heights? Feel free to put that in the chat. Your options are Brown University, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, or Stanford. Got 1, 2. Anyone else? Anybody else?
Sorry, I don't know. They're all great schools.
I mean, feel free to take a guess. Yes, they are all great schools. There we go. We got people are getting more confident now. Yay! Okay, we got lots of Stanfords. We got a couple. We got a Princeton. We got a Yale. Anybody else? Anybody? Going once? Going twice? Clark Kent? What have I done? I'll make a joke once. Okay. The correct answer is Stanford. Yes, that is actually their mascot. It's a tree. I hate it. It's terrible. All right, so this is actually from her album, Fearless, and it actually talks about how her parents met. So one, she's an incredible performer, but also that has great music. This was actually written for her by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, yes, this name is popping up a lot tonight.
My mother wrote letters to soldiers overseas. She was doing her part. She was 17. My father responded. He was stationed overseas, and he won her heart slowly, sight unseen. He writes to wait for me, and I'll survive this war. A year goes by, and there's a soldier at the door. Her parents raged. They didn't know. She has to choose to stay or go. And I am here 'cause they were fearless. They stood their ground and they were fearless. They blazed a trail, not being fearless. Begin again, begin again. And when we find each other fearless, we're right behind each other fearless. The walls are gone when we are fearless. Begin again, begin again. We can be fearless. We can try to change the world, and when we fall, begin again, check in again. I know that you and I can do it all. And when the fear's the only thing that's real, I let you in, and I begin to feel fearless.
If you ever get a chance to listen to the full song, it's incredible. And one more. This is Amanda Gonzalez singing Breathe, which is Nina's pivotal song from In the Heights.
Home. When I was a child, I stayed wide awake, climbed to the highest place on every fiber escape, restless to climb. I got every scholarship, saved every dollar, the first to go to college, and I tell them why I'm coming back home with my eyes on the horizon. Just me and the GWB. Asking G, Nina, what'll you be? Straighten the spine, smile for the neighbors. Everything's fine, everything's cool. The standard reply, lots of tests, lots of papers. Smile, wave goodbye, and pray to the sky. Oh God, what will my parents say?
We've got another piece of trivia. In what musical did Daniel Radcliffe make his Broadway debut? Oh. So your options are how to succeed in business without really trying. We got a Harry Potter musical, Grey Gardens, Head Within the Angry Inch, or Puffs. I'm sure a lot of you are scratching your heads and looking at these answers wondering what they are. Got 2 for A, 3 for A, 4. Okay, we've got 1 for D. Interesting choice. Anybody else? Anyone? Huh? Okay. I will admit, I was a little mean when I was putting this one together. I may have been having some fun and messing around with anybody who happens to be even the slightest bit familiar with Harry Potter. Okay, anyone? Okay. The answer is has succeeded in business without really trying.
Is there really a brotherhood of man on the level of brotherhood of man? A noble tie that binds all human hearts and minds into one brotherhood of man. Oh yes, your lifelong membership is free. Keep forgiving each brother. Proud to be in that fraternity, the big, big brotherhood of man.
Oh, that noble beat feels like bells are pealing down with double D. Oh, brother, you got me, I got you.
You got me, I got you. Oh, that noble feeling feels like bells are pealing down with double feeling. Oh, brother, you got me, I got you.
So indeed, as Carol pointed out, this was the revival of How to Succeed in Business, co-starring John Larroquette. And I've actually got another bit of a fun fact for you. Did you know Daniel Radcliffe's replacement as J. Pierpont Finch was at the time up-and-coming Broadway star Darren Criss? You may have heard that name. Criss had gained popularity through a production at Michigan State University in which he played Harry Potter. Kind of hard to believe. If you happened to see that I mentioned a show called The Harry Potter Musical, I didn't make that up. It's very real. He played Harry Potter in that and in a Harry Potter sequel and a Harry Potter senior year. There are three-hour musicals from this group in Michigan that are now based out of Chicago. all based on the works of Harry Potter. So this is actually a little bit about Daniel Radcliffe. There is a TV show on the BBC called Who Do You Think You Are, where they look into various famous people. They can be actors, they can be politicians, all of them pretty much British. That the BBC does is looking into genealogy. This is about his Jewish grandfather.
My grandmother would be your first cousin.
Yep.
So what do you know about your grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, Louis
Right.
Gershon?
Well, what was in my flat where I grew up all my life was a picture of Louis Gershon. And I'm now going to show you Louis Gershon.
Wow.
Now, if you look at Louis Gershon and you look at Daniel Radcliffe,
Yeah.
there is not
I mean, it's
much
not-
difference. That's
It's
a
not a million
Gershon
miles
face.
away.
You look more like him than I do, and I'm named after him. Look at you.
That's- I
It's
just
the
need
same
to-
bloody face.
yeah, just need to shave the rest of it off.
You need to tidy up a bit,
Yeah,
Daniel,
really.
but apart from that, you're all right. But look at that. And look, it's amazing.
That's incredible. Sorry, let me just have another. I mean, around the eyes and the eyebrows. That's where I get them from. That's really remarkable. Is there anything else you can tell me about Louis? Because I on the tree, all I know is that he met or married Jessie Greenwall in South Africa. It says, but that is all I know.
If you haven't caught on already, this is Daniel Radcliffe, who's best known for playing Harry Potter. So he was born in London, England, to Marcia Gresham and Alan Radcliffe. So as you briefly caught in that clip there, so it's his mother who is Jewish, and originally her family came from South Africa. He made his acting debut at the age of 10 in a BBC adaptation of David Copperfield. And he did another film in the middle called, I think was it the Taylor of Panama as well. In 2000, his parents were approached by producer David Heyman to audition for the role of Harry Potter. They did not want him to do it. His mother worked as a casting director and did not want that life for her son, particularly since this was just the very beginning of the hype of Harry Potter. And they knew they would be committing to at least 7 films at that point in time. He did go on to end up with that role because they decided he was perfect. After a chance encounter in the theater one night where the producer ran into him and his parents yet again. And he did play the role for the entire series, which is in total of 8 films. He's done other work while doing Harry Potter, such as stage play Equus. You're wondering why I did not count that. That is the West End. And the film The December Boys. His Broadway debut was in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and he's since done quite a bit more on Broadway more recently. He continues to diversify his work. So he was in the Broadway play The Lifespan of a Fact and a TBS series called Miracle Workers, which is very funny. It's, if you like The Good Place, it's fairly similar to that. He works as an angel named Craig. It's quite funny. And he's set to star in a film, I believe it's opening soon if it hasn't opened already, as the villain, and it's called The Lost City. It's an action adventure comedy with Sandra Bullock. And it was actually recently announced, I think in the last couple of weeks or so, that Radcliffe will be starring as Weird Al Yankovic in an upcoming biopic. So admittedly, I don't have a lot more songs to hear, so this is just my favorite scene from Harry Potter. It's very silly.
Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
That's just one of my favorite moments from the entire series. And we're continuing with the Harry Potter stuff. I'm not sorry. Jason Isaacs is known for playing which role in the Harry Potter films? I'm not expecting a lot of you to know who these people are. So your options are Gilderoy Lockhart, Igor Karkaroff, Lucius Malfoy, Amicus Carrow, or Rodolphus Lestrange. I have one response, and I know that there's at least one other person in the chat who knows. Okay, got 4, 5. Any more? Any more? Okay, we've got 1 for Rodolphus Lestrange. Interesting. Okay. Anybody else? No? No? Righty. Answer is Lucius Malfoy.
Don't touch anything, Draco.
Yes, Father. Master Malfoy, what a pleasure to see you again. And young Master Malfoy, too. Delighted. I must show you, just in today, and very reasonably priced.
I'm not buying today, Morgan. I'm selling.
Selling.
Draco? You are aware, no doubt, that the Ministry of Magic is conducting more raids on private houses. There's even rumors of a new Muggle Protection Act.
Pure wizard blood is counting for less everywhere, I'm afraid.
Not with me. Anyway, I brought a few items from home that might prove embarrassing for the Ministry to call. Just poisons and the like.
Look at
That particular item is not for sale.
I understand. It has unique qualities. One wouldn't want to see it falling into the wrong hands.
All right. So, fun fact, and that was part of the reason I had one of those names on there. So, Jason Isaacs actually originally auditioned for the role of Gilderoy Lockhart. If you're familiar with that character, you're wondering how in the world did he end up with Lucius? So that was in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. He was then asked by the producers to read the role of Lucius Malfoy. He was reluctant to do so and did not want to do it, having recently played the villainous Captain Hook in a Peter Pan film. However, his annoyance and anger bled through in the reading, and according to Isaacs, is likely what led to him getting the part. So this is Jason Isaacs. He was born on June 6, 1963 in Liverpool, England, to Jewish parents. And pardon me if I get this wrong because I know British names are strange. Isaacs grew up in a Jewish community in Childwall, the same community that was actually founded by his great-grandparents. He attended youth group at local synagogue and went to King David High School. He also attended a cheder twice a week. Then his family ended up moving to London. And while he was there, his family endured intense anti-Semitism by members and supporters of the British far-right extremist organization, the National Front. And this is a quote from Isaacs. There were constantly people beating us up or smashing windows. If you were ever, say, on a Jewish holiday, identifiably Jewish, there was lots of violence around. But particularly when I was 16 in 1979, the National Front were really taking hold. There were leaflets at school and Sieg Heiling and people goose-stepping down the road coming after us. This anti-Semitism actually led to his parents eventually making Aliyah to Israel. Couldn't find anything to confirm it. I think they still live there. Following in the footsteps of his brothers, he studied law at Bristol University, but actually found out that he was being a lot more active in the Drama Society. And following graduating from Bristol, he eventually went to study at the London Central School of Speech and Drama. Not long after completing his training, he started getting minor roles on stage and in television. He played the role of Louis Ironson in Tony Kushner's Angels in America, a gay Fantasia on national themes in the London premiere. And about that, when he was auditioning the role, this is what he has to say. Look, I play all these tough guys and thugs and strong, complex characters. In real life, I am a cringing, neurotic, Jewish mess. Can't I for once play that on stage? He had his Hollywood feature premiere in Event Horizon in 1996, opposite Lawrence Fishburne. He rose to popularity with his portrayal of Colonel Tavington in The Patriot, and he's been continuously popular for other villainous roles, such as previously mentioned Captain Hook and Lucius Malfoy. And he's described the bullying and intolerance that he was faced with and that observed during his childhood as he says, preparation for portraying the unattractive villains and bad guys that more often than not he plays. More recently, you can see him as Gabriel in the role of Gabriel Lorca on Star Trek Discovery. Here's just a few more of my favorite scenes of him. This is him and Peter Pan as Captain Hook in, I think, one of the better known scenes from the show, from the movie. Right?
And now, Peter Pan, you shall die.
To die will be an awfully big adventure.
Oh no.
It's all a bit tragic, really, isn't it?
If you've never seen that adaptation of Peter Pan, it's quite good. And they actually went a bit more of how you traditionally stage the play, in which not only he plays Captain Hook, but he also plays Mr. Darling. And here's just one more bit of fun, just because at least two people in my age range who also like me are obsessed with Harry Potter. Lucius tends to be a favorite just because of how much you love to hate him. And he's also kind of fun to watch. He certainly chooses scenery a bit.
Harry Potter freed Dobby. How can Dobby ever repay him?
Just promise me something.
Anything, sir.
Never try to save my life again.
Hang on, that's not where I wanted to do this. Hang on. Why I did that.
Malfoy! I have something of yours.
Mine? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think you do, sir. I think you slipped the diary into Ginny Weasley's cauldron that day at Diagon Alley.
You do? Do you? Why don't you prove it? Come, Dobby.
Open it.
Dobby?
Master has given Dobby a sock.
What? I didn't...
Master has presented Dobby with clothes. Dobby is free.
You lost me, my servant!
You shall not harm Harry Potter.
Your parents were meddlesome fools, too. Mark my words, Potter. One day soon, you are going to meet the same sticky end.
So for some context for the uninformed, it was a very big deal of giving Dobby a sock and freeing him. And if you were looking in the subtitles, he was probably about to try and kill Harry. That was about the first half of the Killing Curse, which would totally screw up the series, but that's a whole other issue. All right, that is Jason Isaacs. Yes, he's my one not singer as far as I'm aware of. So no songs from him. I had to go another route. And that is also all I've got tonight.
I'm going to unmute myself. And I wanted to make sure, Miryam, everybody is very forgiving of your typos, but there's nothing like being a coat room attending. Maybe that's a medical degree. And in the meantime, if there are any questions, you can certainly unmute yourselves and share that. But I think we were able to manage, even with the polls not exactly getting past the first one. We're grateful that you take the time to create these delightful amusements for all of us, because we're not always thinking about what the name of the character is or where we even know some of these character actors from. Any other comments or questions? And if not, well, let's put it this way, this is your time. And if not, what can I say? The Olympics are still going on. If you could kindly, if this happens to be your first rodeo, meaning your first time in 2022, this is our first resumption of online programming. But if I don't know you, and I know our email registration is good, but not everybody puts in a zip code. And we do have bean counters. That is to say, much of our funding to bring these programs to you come from the government funds, the wonderful organization known as the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, SCFD, based in Denver, and involves the counties in and around greater Metro Denver, 7 counties altogether. But they have obviously also adapted to these new times, and always want to know if people are coming to attend Colorado Hebrew Chorale events from outside of Denver. If you're in Arapahoe County, Boulder County, Adams County, notice I can keep going. Or if you're not in any of those counties, but you are elsewhere in Colorado, such as in Colorado Springs or in Erie, Colorado, need I go on? Thank you for those of you who mentioned that you are here from out of state. We're glad to know that you are there, or you have relocated into a different time zone. And we respect the fact that for you, in your other time zone, it is not going at around 8:25, but it's 9:25 or 10:25. And so with that, I will say farewell for this evening. I will turn off the recording. We look forward to welcoming Miryam back. Evie, was your hand up for something?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Anita, are you still in Denver, Anita? Or are you in Chicago? Chicago? Okay.
Lincolnwood, Illinois.
I didn't know you were leaving.
Well, what can we say? We don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, we will all wave
Mary.
farewell, and thank you again, Miryam, for a
Thank
delightful
you.
presentation. And we look forward to many more in 2022. Friends,
Thank you.
have a
Thank you
great
very
evening,
much.
and thanks for your ongoing support, and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Miryam, very nice. Thank you.
Let's stop that recording.